I am inviting you, feast some for yourself, enjoy it, enjoy it. Don't even dare to use a spoon or a fork for it, okay? Go natural with bare hands. But make sure you wash your hands first, because that is what I'm going to do next to eat my swallow with Ogbono soup. Hello, welcome back family to Mama Nigeria's kitchen. A kitchen filled with love, fun and nutritious food. So today I have something special for you. Something really special, going down to the roots of my motherland, Nigeria. Yes, I'm a proud Nigerian, and today I'm going to be showcasing Ogbono soup. Did you just hear that? Ogbono soup. What is that? This is a very rich soup that is healthy, delicious. I don't even have the words to describe it. It is the top of the line soup. When you go to Nigeria in any function, occasion, or just being in your house, if you are a special guest, that is perhaps the soup that you will be blessed with when you visit any of the homes in Nigeria. So today I'm going to show you how to make that soup and how to also eat it. So I invite you to come in, join us as we cook this special Ogbono and eat and dine with us as well. That is going to be the special at the end. Okay, so let me show you the ingredients that we are going to use to feast our Ogbono soup today. So starting from here, my left, I do have the perfect seasoning. I'm using 3 teaspoons of the perfect seasoning to reduce the amount of salt I'm going to be using. And I also have seasoned salt. I have 1 teaspoon of the seasoned salt, and I have a half teaspoon of just regular salt. Okay, I didn't add pepper there yet, but I'm gonna be using some good dose of pepper. Anyone from Africa, we love pepper. Okay, it's gonna be spicy, not too spicy, but moderately spicy. So I will be using about 2 teaspoons of pepper. Okay, it is cayenne pepper. Okay, it's very grounded cayenne pepper that I will be using. And then I do have some seasoning. Okay, this is Knorr's seasoning. I'm using 3 cubes. And of course, this is Ogbono, that's upside down, Ogbono seed. So this is natural seed. It comes like this. And then I'm going to show you how to clean it, blend it, and turn it into the pasty, thick, yummy goodness soup of Ogbono, which I love. My children, they all love it. I do have green cut up collard greens. This is fresh collard greens that I did clean and cut up by myself. Just put it in the freezer. So you can purchase collard green from the store to use as well, or fresh from the produce. And protein to go with my Ogbono soup, I have dry crayfish that I'm gonna be blending. Okay, crayfish, I don't use it that often, but I definitely do not miss it when I am feasting my Ogbono soup. And of course, smoked fish. I do have here a heap of smoked fish, Kuta Fish. If you want to know how to clean Kuta fish, please check out my video. It will give you detailed instruction on how to take care of your Kuta fish. This is Kuta fish. You cannot beat that when you add it to your Ogbono soup. And then of course we have to talk about our meat. Meat. Yes, I do have beef here and oxtail that is going to be blessing this pot with. All right, so let's get down to cooking, everyone. I do have 4 cups of water that I'm going to be added on. Okay. And then I am adding on some of my smoked fish. I wouldn't want to add on all of my smoked fish at this point because I just want these ones to go in to give it that intense smoked fish flavor. Okay. And then later on I shall be adding the rest of my fish. So that is how I feast my soup, so that at the end of the day everything is not crushed up in the soup itself. I need to put on my seasoning. So I'm going to add on the ½ teaspoon of salt, the 1 teaspoon of seasoned salt, and of course the perfect seasoning. I also need to add in the Knorr seasoning, so I'm gonna open this up and throw that in there. You don't really need to crush it because by the time the meat is cooked, everything is going to dissolve in that part of soup. So I'm gonna get this last one in there. Stunning. There we go. So just gonna give it a good stir and let it cook. So while this is cooking, we're going to work on our ogbono seed. Ogbono is actually very easy to cook. Very easy to cook, okay? So all you really need is to have some patience and understand the technique of working with your ogbono seeds. That is the tricky part of it, so it does not become seedy, okay? So while all of our seasoning is dissolving there, cover it up and let it go through some cooking and we shall be back. So at this point, while the meat and the smoked fish is cooking, we're going to clean up our ogbono seeds, okay? So when you empty out the ogbono seed out of the bags, you will notice that you have some shafts that comes with it, okay? So those shafts, we really don't want it in our soup, okay? So the shaft is practically actually the back of the ogbono seed, all right? So it is consumable, it's edible, but I like to take off those from my ogbono. And I also look through to see if there is any that is not, that does not look, you know, good in appearance, you know, that is decaying. And then I will take that up. So ogbono is one thing, I know we all like to wash things, but ogbono seed is one thing you don't want to wash. You can wash it ahead of time, dry it, because when you want to blend, it has to be dry, because you want to blend it into a possible powder state before you add in your palm oil, okay, to convert it into that creamy state, okay? So I usually just work my chicken through it and do that. When you do that, majority of the shaft comes to the front and you just take the shaft off, okay, and any debris or dirt off from it, all right? So you can see that, and I'm gonna walk it again. So you do that as often as possible until you have all of that clean out of your ogbono. So now our ogbono is ready to be blended to a smooth powder state. So I'm going to be using, you see this, I'm throwing that away. So this has some dark portion of it, okay? It's like it is burnt or something, but I don't want that, so I'm just gonna throw that away. Okay, so majority of the debris and dirt is off the ogbono. So next thing is to blend. So if you don't have, actually this is the first time I'm using the coffee grinder to blend my ogbono. I just want to try it out to see, is it gonna do a better job than my regular blender. Okay, so this is testing. If it does not, I'm gonna immediately switch over to my regular blender and use that. So this is Kuta blender, coffee blender here that I'm using, and hoping it does stand to spin. Okay, so if you can see, majority of the seed is all grounded into this powder. So but as for me, this is not smooth enough. I will still have to blend it again when I mix it or melt it into the oil mixture. Okay, so I will show you how I do that. So this coffee blender is not doing a perfect job here, because you can see some of the ogbono is still here, which is not what I was expecting. But meanwhile, I will transfer this into my pot that I will use to melt the ogbono seed. Alright, at this point, our meat has boiled for about 45 minutes. So as you can see, the meat stock is quite reduced, and the meat looks very tenderized, so that is great. The fish is as well. So because I do not want to break up my fish, I'm just going to gently stir things up from the side. Okay, so I will be adding on the rest of my protein. This is the crayfish blended. I'll throw that in there. Next is the remaining of the smoked fish. Okay, so that will be going in there. And then I will be reducing the heat to low, so you can just simmer into that while I give the final prep to my ogbono seed. Then that's I want those fish to be soaked into the meat stock, so it can absorb all the good juices of the stock. Add on a good dose of pepper to my ogbono seed. I'm using the ground red pepper, which is cayenne pepper. So I have here one teaspoon rather, 2 teaspoons. You want to try as much as possible to add on your pepper now before you mix in the ogbono seed, because once you have the pastiness of the ogbono seed going in, it's a little bit more challenging for you to have an evenly mixed in pepper if you need to add on any more seasoning to your soup. So when you want to do your taste testing, this is the best time for you to do your taste testing before you add on the ogbono. Okay, so I'm gonna give that a taste. Nice. So remember the ogbono seed, I blended it in my coffee grinder, and this is the end product of that. So at this time you can see it is the coffee blender or the coffee grinder, you know, did a good job, but not enough to my satisfaction. I will be reblending this once I melt it all up with the oil. So one thing you always want to do, because we don't want the ogbono to be seedy, so all of this has to be melted. So I'm going to turn on a very low heat here. I mean very low heat. So now we're going to work with our ogbono. So I have the ogbono powder now, from seed to powder, but we need to melt it, okay? So to that creamy state. So I'm going to turn on my heat to a very low temperature. That's one. I want to give it a gentle heat to enable me melt the ogbono into a pasty form, but I do not want it to get burnt, okay? Burnt. So while the pot is heating up, you cannot take your eyes away from these guys when you're doing this, okay? Because if you leave it without stirring at all, the bottom is just gonna get burnt, and you don't want burnt ogbono seed. So you can see what I'm doing. If you look at the bottom, see how the bottom starts to melt. So eventually everything is going to convert to that melted ogbono. So when you are stirring it, pick up that bottom, and you want to work fast while you are doing this. If you think you have enough heat, feel free to turn off the stove, because you are not cooking it, you just need the heat to dissolve the seed. Because very soon we're going to add on our oil, and the oil also helps it to dissolve faster. Because ogbono also have oil, natural oil of its own. You can see how that is changing color to more dark brownish, light brownish color right there. So it's gonna get somehow translucent, but at this time I'm gonna cut up my stove, and then I'm using palm oil. So I give my oil a very good shake so that everything is all mixed in, and that's 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons. So I'm going to work that in and see how that turns out to determine if I need to add any more oil to this color. So palm oil, for those of you that are not familiar with palm oil is made from palm nuts from the palm tree. As you can see, it's easier to dissolve. Remember, I have turned off my stove, but my pot is still hot, so I'm using the heat from the pot to dissolve the rest of my ogbono. So remember I said earlier I'm going to blend this again, because I can still see a little bit of little pieces, little chunks of the seed, which I wouldn't want to see in my ogbono soup. So I will give this another good blend using my blender. Alright. So that is all melted. You can see that it's still a little bit seedy. So let's give it a second blend and you will see the outcome of that. So now you can see the meat stock is all juicy and may really condense. Juicy, okay? Of the meat stock with all of the flavors from the meat, the stockfish, all dissolved into that meat stock. So now we want to give a very good salute to our ogbono by beating it up, okay? Yes, we call it beating the ogbono. So how are we gonna do that? We're going to remove the meat from this pot and beat up the ogbono in the meat stock. Okay, that's how we're gonna get the ogbono into a moderately thin consistency. So I'm kind of careful with this so my fish is preserved. I don't want to break up all the fish. And meanwhile, I did boil a kettle of hot water because I will be needing to add some more water to this meat stock because my meat stock has significantly reduced. Guys, if you come to this kitchen, the aroma from this ogbono meat stock has permeated every space in this kitchen. From a distance, you can even perceive the aroma. It's beautiful. All right, so now we have virtually everything out. I'm going to add on just a little bit of some more hot water. So I'm adding about 2 cups, yeah, roughly 2 cups of water here. So this is the pot that I used earlier to dissolve the ogbono. So I'm just scraping whatever is left in here into that pot of soup. Nothing is wasted in this kitchen. All right, guys. So I'm gonna bring up my burner to a high heat. So I completed blending my ogbono. You can see the consistency now is very smooth and pasty consistency. Okay. So once I bring this to a boil, I will add on my veggies. The ogbono soup is almost done, guys. Almost done. Yes, vegetables. So this is the collard green. I'm gonna add this onto it. Bring everything to boil and then add on my ogbono soup. Alright guys, now we're going to beat up this ogbono. Beat it up real good so that it is it's a nice consistency. Okay, see the ogbono? Very smooth paste. Okay, so this is where the tricky part is, guys. If you don't want your ogbono to be seedy, as you are pouring it in, you want to stir. Okay, that is what you call beating up the ogbono.
Right. Try it again, please.
So this is where this is the tricky part of it, guys. Okay, sometimes you have people make ogbono and it's very seedy. Okay, it's because of this technique. You have to master the technique. As you're pouring in the ogbono, you want to give it a quick stir, because if you don't do that, your ogbono will become seedy and you won't have that smooth, pasty consistency. So I have my ogbono. I'm gonna pour in. As I pour in, you can see I'm stirring, and now as I'm doing that, the ogbono is thickening up, and I'm increasing the speed of which I'm working it in. Okay. I need to reduce my heat here. Give it a good beating. Okay, so that's why it's always good for you to have hot water beside you, because right now this ogbono is quite thick, so I want to loosen it up a little bit. So I'm gonna work in the water and mix it all in. And beat it up some more until everything is smooth. So it's like you're folding it in, okay? Yes, I'm liking that consistency now. So this is a delicacy soup. Hey, Naija, abeg this is not Ogbono soup, Ogbono soup. Wetin you will eat with this now? You can eat fufu, you can eat swallow, you can eat garri, you can even eat it all by itself. My people, I am gonna feast some swallow with this, okay? Yes, I don't eat it all the time, but whenever I do, I sit down, balance myself, and make sure I really enjoy it. Yes, so, what do you dey talk? I beg. So now, my ogbono soup is almost ready, okay? I just need to add on the meat and the fish that I took out. Put that back in there, let everything simmer together, and voila! This ogbono soup is ready for the king and the queens. Yes, indeed, ready for the kings and the queens. Okay, you can see how it draws. Chai, you need to use fufu to slap this one. Abba. Alright, ogbono soup is ready.